So, first off, I think I should mention that by the end of the day, and I'll remember to leave a link in the description for the full video, as well as other videos that talked about this. More including Tipster's video, because I found his take really interesting, and probably similar to my own in this situation. But by the end of the day, it's all on opinion on what could have actually happened or how this all transpired. But it's safe to say that when it comes down to it, this situation is just it blew up out of proportion really, really fucking fast. Especially with how worse it got as time progressed. But anyway, let's talk about the Victoria's Secret Karen freakout video that was released, and by God, that's interesting to say the least. Now, as much as I want to show the video, I kind of feel like that something like that may, for whatever reason, end up getting copyright claimed. I don't know why. I just have this sinking feeling that it would. So, I will leave a link in the description so you guys can see the full video, as well as videos that talk about it as well and give their perspective. But in the end, this was interesting, and I'll do my best to give a rundown and give my thoughts. So, the video itself, at least for the full drama or full scenario, and I'm sure it's longer because it's cut into bits. The video itself is 21 minutes, going over some of the things that transpired throughout the whole situation. You have this white lady who goes on to try to hit the person holding the camera, and she, as soon as she realizes she's being recorded, she ends up going on a full-on tantrum. And I say tantrum because even though she this lady throughout the video claims that she is, or at least the person holding the camera and recording is displaying her mental breakdown, I guess. As much as I don't want to sound like I'm denouncing any form of mental health from this individual. I kind of feel like it's more of a tantrum, because this person, especially on video, more likely knowing the fact that this may end up being put on the internet, realize that their behavior is going to be put on display for everybody to see. Again, I don't want to try to denounce anybody's mental health, but I feel like if anything, this is more of a somebody throwing a tantrum and just displaying their bad behavior because they aren't getting their way. And sure enough, again, since it gets worse, especially with, at certain points, this person is going around trying to chase this lady with the camera and trying to claim that the person is threatening her, which throughout the video you don't hear the person recording ever threaten or make a threat towards this individual. This person tells her to get away, even though repeatedly this lady who is throwing the tantrum is literally chasing her to try to attack her, to grab her phone. And the worst part about this whole situation is security is nowhere to be found. It takes, I guess, apparently one of the staff members of the store to go to the security office to try to find a security guard after nobody showing up for a very extended period of time. And at one point, especially with I think it's more of because of the fact that the woman who was basically acting berate called the cops and acted as if she was being harassed, being threatened, and so on, the cops inevitably showed up as well. And at first weren't even like considering escorting the lady out, which is the worst part. Now, there's a debate when it comes to this whole situation. And I say debate because quite a few people are kind of different on the motives of some of the individuals involved, because at this point a lot of people, especially with the cops involved, people are claiming racism. And I say this because, and I have been kind of avoiding mentioning it, more so because because at this point, when it comes down to it, I try to treat everybody equally. But the person who is recording the situation, recording this whole scenario of this woman just acting childish and freaking aggressive towards her, is African American. And in this situation, you have, again, cops who, I'm going to be perfectly honest, I don't, and I know some people are saying, you saying that because you're white. No, I'm saying because, looking at, and especially looking at some of the cops in my own state, I think if anything, it was just a bunch of lazy fucking cops. Because in the video, the cops don't seem to want to do anything. If anything, it seems like at first they don't want to remove this lady, the one who was the attacker, out of the mall. And in some sense, just want to let her be. Even though, like, near the very end, they do end up doing that anyways. And a lot of people are claiming that, certain people were, I guess, that were coming in and out, that were, being emotional supportive to the attacker, and trying to claim that was a sign of racism, which I'm going to be perfectly honest. And I have to agree with Tipster in his video. Just to give, like, this quick scenario, if you were a person just walking in and if you see an individual who's upset, your initial response wouldn't be like, oh, it's a white woman and, oh, she's upset, let's see what's going on. No, you're going to see somebody who's just upset, not caring of what their skin color is, and trying to see if they're okay, what's wrong, and so on. Not because they were white or black, but just because of the fact that they were upset. So, by the end of the video, we have this person, or the person recording, going to the police station, also making a complaint towards the cops, who did jack shit. And honestly, I think they should, go over, I don't know if they made a formal complaint to the security, because let's face it, I think they should make a complaint to them too, because they weren't doing their fucking job, apparently. But in the end, it's just this whole thing was a shit show. Now, there's another thing I want to agree with on Tipster, is because there was a couple times where, and when it comes down to the situation, the person recording was kind of saying a few things that may provoke the individual. And I have to agree that when it comes down, I agree with Tipster that when it comes down to it, instead of trying to antagonize, it's better to try to de-escalate the situation. And I ask you guys to check out the full video so you guys can see what we're talking about, and even see Tipster's video so you see what he's talking about as well. So, but in the end, what the lady did, where she's chasing this poor woman around the Victoria's Secret, was not okay. That behavior, especially for her, I've just to assume is an adult woman, is not okay. That type of behavior was childish, and to an extent, especially like looking at the video, is part of me wants to say manipulative too, because with her like breaking down, throwing a tantrum, And honestly, that's something you would see a little kid do. Like, no, not trying to give this person more shit, but seriously, that is something like the type of behavior you see where, like, she's claiming she has a mental breakdown. She just sprawls all across the floor, as if, she's done. It's something a fucking toddler would do. A small child. She's a grown-ass woman. Why the fuck is she acting this way? It makes no fucking sense. And in the end, I'm just going to say it. Regardless of whether you're a man, a woman, you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, doesn't fucking matter. Heck, whether you're gay or straight or trans, doesn't fucking matter. If you do something wrong, then at that point, expect to be, to take responsibility for your own actions. And especially with nowadays where people are literally, especially when it comes down to either at malls or hell, even with freaking driving, more and more people are using cameras to cover their own asses when it comes to situations that involve themselves and a second party. Because at this point, especially with people's bad behavior, it comes out and it ends up becoming viral because of just the amount of childish behavior that is brought up by certain individuals. So again, if you do something wrong, doesn't matter whether you're white, black, Hispanic, whatever, trans, gay, straight, doesn't matter. You accept responsibility for what you've done. But anyway, that's my video. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you want to check out some of the other videos that I've mentioned, I'll leave links in the description down below so you guys can go check it out. Because again, it's a lot. I'm sure there's a couple things. If you guys have any thoughts, leave in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care. Peace. 2, 3, 5.